Today's the day, guys. Today we will be riding the Moto Guzzi Stelvio from West Palm all the way up to Winter Haven, but our final destination will be St. Pete. They had the St. Pete Bikefest, so we have about 1761 in miles, so 1,761. So I got this motorcycle around September. It was September, let me see, no, I'm sorry, I'm lying. I got it August 22nd. That's when I got it. And the reason I said September is because the first one that I had, this is a replacement. So the first one that I had from the dealer, it was Love Motorsports. It came defective, and the guys, instead of fixing it and spending all that time, they were nice enough to say, hey, we're just going to go ahead and replace it for you and get it done with. And then that took until September 8th. That's why I'm a little confused on to like when I got this bike. So that was until September 8th that I got my replacement. I was able to drive back there, which is Homosassa. That's approximately 4 hours away from West Palm. And of course I was working and doing things in between. That's why I couldn't get the replacement sooner. And so I got the replacement. The first one had issues with the oil pressure sensor, meaning that it either wasn't reading correctly or it came with some sort of defective engine, and it was throwing the code on the actual cluster. It was saying that the oil pressure was low and it was turning red and it was actually blinking, but the bike never needed oil. It was full. And so I conveyed this information to the dealer, and they were the ones that eventually just decided, look, we can't fix it. This is probably going to take a little bit too long because of the parts availability. This bike comes from Italy, so we're just going to go ahead and replace it. And that's what I got here. So that's why this one here hasn't given me any issues, luckily, which is awesome. It's been so far a pretty reliable bike. I've done a couple of trips already with it, and it's been an excellent bike, to be quite honest with you. No issues whatsoever. I mean, nothing. Everything has been great. I have listened to some rattles here and there, but then after doing research, that's normal with this kind of engine. And yeah, it's been just excellent. So that's why I'm doing this 2,000 mile review. And so I just want to show you guys that it can go far. Right there, I'm not sure if you can see it, it says 1,762. And then we're going to talk later on when we have added some miles. And of course, I want you guys to also see that Bikefest from St. Pete. Something I noticed here with the Moto Guzzi Stelvio, specifically this one that I have, which is the 2024 model. It goes all the way up to 2026, I guess. Well, this engine likes to break in late. I noticed that I'm going a lot faster with less gas after about the 1,500 mile mark. Right now we're at 1,788, and I noticed that it has kind of like loosened up. So yeah, some motorcycles take longer than others, and I noticed that Moto Guzzi, at least this V100 engine, it takes a little bit longer than usual. So at least you know. I am testing the Mjtech on the helmet for the first time. Last time I tried this with the Mjtech, I totally failed. It was kind of like too close to my lips, and I guess that I had the gain a little higher than usual because I probably forgot to bring it down from doing other videos, and it was terrible. So now I'm testing this setup, and hopefully this is a lot better. That's why I purchased the 3s, to get a smaller size and be able to fit it inside of the helmet. I think something happened here, so we're gonna go slow. But yeah, guys, I'm very, very happy. This bike is just so comfy. So far we have done maybe like 20-30 miles, and I know that's not a lot, but it's been super comfortable. Super. This is a great opportunity while traveling at nighttime to view what these headlights can do. Now, I have to admit, even though they are illuminating, but it's not very bright, not even with the highlights. I would say they're not the greatest. However, they do adjust when you turn, and I guess it senses through the built-in gyro, it senses that you're leaning. The lights do focus on where you're leaning, but it's still, the brightness on them is not the best. I think the Suzuki have better ones, and a lot of people have also complained about the Suzuki. So yes, at least with my own experience with this bike, I gotta say they could have done better. The fog got the best of us right now. We are going quite slow. We are on road or Highway 60, for those of you who are familiar with Florida. And man, now it's getting a little better, but at first I wasn't even daring to record. I could barely see the lines. It was pretty bad. It is still bad, and not as bad as what I just went through. This is the Haines City limits. We just passed a Walmart, several gas stations. And believe it or not, the track that we are taking tomorrow to go to St. Pete, I've never taken that route. It's going to be mainly on I-4. It is a major highway that goes across the middle, basically, the middle of Florida. And so that's what we are taking tomorrow. To my right, we have Florida's natural orange juice. The ones that you see at Publix, Walmart, and pretty much any supermarket. Well, that's the factory right there to my right. That thing is huge. That's amazing. Alrighty guys, so we just made it here to the Haines City area. As we already know, we just drove a couple of miles. And we're gonna wrap it up here. We are about to arrive here to my mom's home. And we are all done for tonight. Tomorrow is gonna be the big day. And let's see how it goes when we get there.
Much later.
So in this case, my brother, he was off today from work, and him and his partner decided to follow us to that place. So that's going to be very, very cool. And so it says here that we had to make a left. I don't think we had to make a left. We make a right. That's a dead end over there. I think this thing is still locking a signal. Let's see. There we go. Alright guys, so here we go with the review part of the Moto Guzzi Stelvio 2024. And we have just about 2,000 miles. We have 1,932 miles, and this thing has been fantastic. It has been a great bike overall, with some little things to complain about, and I think that's quite normal. One of the best aspects about the Moto Guzzi Stelvio 2024 is the seat. The seat is one of the best seats that I've seen that comes stock with the bike. Normally I have to change them. I did it with the CF Moto, then I did it with the Suzuki GSX S1000 and other bikes, but those are my two most recent bikes, the Suzuki and the CF Moto, coming from 2023 all the way to present. This is my third bike from 2023. And this is the first bike where I can travel more than 3 hours without any type of pain. And believe me, I am very sensitive just because of the fact that I've had accidents, car accidents, and my back is always a problem. Now this bike is amazing on that aspect. So another thing that I have to give credits to is the fact that the handlebar, the position, didn't have to be modded either. I am 5'10" with shoes, and I can reach the handlebars perfectly, and I can still keep a straight back, 100% straight. And maybe that's the secret as to why I am not getting back pain. So there's zero modifications to be needed in order for you to have comfort, in my humble opinion. It might be different from case to case, but I can assure you guys this is a super comfortable bike. Okay, this one has a what they call a transverse engine. I think that's the word, where the engine is not sitting like, you know, the pistons are not moving from that side to this side, they're moving from this side to this side, which means that you're gonna get some vibrations when you are idling. Now, weird enough, you don't get the vibrations when you are riding, and that prevents the hand fatigue quite a bunch, meaning that you don't get that numbness either. So the only thing that I had to modify to avoid some of that wind is the windscreen. I had to mod that out, and I got one from Givy, and that has been 100% great so far. When it comes to the engine, as I was explaining at nighttime when I was riding, you have to wait quite a while for this bike to really break in. You're gonna notice that even after 1,000 miles, you still have that engine kind of restricted. It's hard to explain, but you can feel it on the throttle when it's loose and it's completely broken in. You will feel it just because of the acceleration gets a lot better. Also, the engine power, you can see a significant difference. So when you get a bike like this, if you're buying it brand new, be patient, okay? You have to be, you know, patient on the braking side. Many people complain that the power is not there, this and that. I thought the same, but that's because I had to wait a little longer for it to break in. The quick shifter. All right, so many people talk about the quick shifter, saying that it's shifting hard on the first 3 gears, and I do agree. The reason is that Moto Guzzi designed it for you to really rev high. So you have to really take off and rev high the RPMs, and then when you shift, you will notice a huge difference. And that's how I got used to this quick shifter. It's very different to at least my Suzuki and even the CF Moto. Those were very, very smooth, even under lower speeds or RPMs. But this is not the type of bike. I mean, we know this bike has a different designed transmission, even though it is a 6-speed gearbox. It is different in that sense that, you know, everything is shifted. So the quick shifter, it works great and it's actually smooth, but you have to learn how to use it. And I learned by just simply accelerating a little bit harder on takeoffs. Besides that, when you shift, let's say using the clutch, you're gonna feel like it's a little clunky, and that's also normal. So it gets better as that guy almost just got on my way, but it gets better with use. Okay, so it gets a lot better with use, and that's the greatness about this bike. Once you got everything set up, broken in, and you get used to the bike, I can guarantee you will have a lot of fun on this Moto Guzzi Stelvio 2024 or whatever year you choose to have, as long as it has the same design, of course. You will have a lot of fun, guys. I like how there's like a little grunt from this engine, and I know I can upgrade the exhaust and get a much better sound. But when you are venturing, I don't know about you, but I would rather have a quieter exhaust system. This is not a sports bike. I might change thoughts later on, but I just like the grunt as it is right now. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. There's a nice little grunt to it, and it sounds amazing, really. So I'm gonna try to do that quick shifter thingy with higher RPMs. I just want to make sure that I can make that right turn. Let's just wait for that car to pass by, and in 3, 2, 1, here we go. You see? A lot smoother, way smoother, guys. Believe me, try it yourself. If you own this bike and you're having issues with that quick shifter, just shift it like you stole it, and you're gonna see what I mean. On the highway, I have to say it's very stable. You don't have that wind gust. This is a heavy bike, by the way. It is in the 500 plus pounds, and especially me having right now a passenger on the rear, well, I have to say that wind is not really taking me over. Today is kind of a windy day, a little bit. You got wind gusts up to 15 miles an hour, and I honestly don't feel it. I mean, you feel it a little bit on your hands, but that's about it. This windscreen by Guzzi is 100% recommended. By the way, right now I have it on the highest position just to avoid that you know, buffeting on my helmet all the time, because I do get it if the windscreen is a little lowered. I get it like on the upper side of the helmet, but to avoid that, that's why you guys can hear me very nice and clearly. Right now I feel no wind coming inside of my helmet, and that's amazing. So yeah, highway wise, this thing can do, I don't know, I think the maximum speed on this one is about 130 miles, 135 I think. And let me tell you guys, it is a breeze. I have the cruise control on. All you have to do is just flick it to the left for like 2 seconds until you see the cruise control light blinking, and then to set it, you just flick it to the left at your desired speed once, like this, and as you can see, I can now let go. But of course, we have traffic here today a little bit. I believe this is I-4, and you have to be careful on I-4, guys. It is notorious for many cyclists, motorcyclists, to have accidents on this road. The mirrors do vibrate a little bit on higher speeds, but I can still see everything clearly, and they don't move out of place, which is great. I might try some aftermarket ones at a later time, but so far these are doing the work just fine. Also, the cluster is positioned perfectly where you don't have to be tilting your head to see it on the Suzuki GSX S1000. And the reason I mentioned that bike a lot is because it was my previous bike before this one. Well, it was kind of like down here, so you had to look down a little bit, and that kind of, you know, took your eyes away from the road, which can be dangerous. With this one, all you have to do is just move your eyes a little bit down, look at it, and then go back up. No issues. And the GPS positioning is more than perfect. Okay, I can look at it with barely moving my eyes and getting my vision off the road, which is phenomenal. So installing a GPS on this thing, which I already made a video about, is a breeze. Something I have to complain with the stock levers for the clutch and the brakes is that they are adjustable, but not adjustable enough. I have average hands. They're not small, they're not big, just average. And I had a hard time even on the closest position to the handle grip. I had issues, especially on the front brake side, to where I just couldn't reach well. I mean, obviously I was able to, but I had to kind of like re-angle my hand, and I didn't like that. So I went with the DBK. I think these are the SP1s, I believe. And I ordered these straight from Italy, and they got home within, I don't know, like 2 weeks or so. And I put them on, and also it helps you with the friction zone. You see on these bikes, this is clutch powered, hydraulics, and so it's not a wire. So the way that you adjust it is a little different. You have to adjust that reach so that you're able to get that friction where you want it to. Okay, in my case, after installing it, I found that putting it on position number 4 on the adjustment side, that gave me the perfect friction zone where I don't feel like I had to go all the way to the end to start taking off like I used to. So you have a whole bunch of modes on this bike. You have road, rain, sport, you have touring, and I forgot what the other one was. And so yeah, you have about 5 different riding modes. I think off-road, I don't know if I mentioned that one already. And the one that I like the most is a road mode. It gives me that stability. It's not too sensitive. Sport mode does make a little bit of difference, especially on the throttle response, but it's not major, and I think that my fuel economy goes to the trash. So road mode gives me everything. Gives me that acceleration, it gives me that power, everything I need. That's the mode that I use it on most of the time. I reminded myself that with this bike, when you are on low traffic, or not low traffic, slow traffic, I meant to say. Like right now I'm only at 24, between 10 and 24 miles an hour. Well, I noticed that the temp gauge starts going up, but it doesn't go above the last two, which is high and then ultra hot. That would be the maximum. So right now we have 3 bars and it has 6 bars, so I get like another bar going up, and that's it. Now I switched to 10W60 oil instead of the recommended 10W50, and I noticed that when I had the break-in oil, it would go another bar up, almost to the highest. So it will go one more bar and it would have been overheating. But with the heavier oil, I haven't really felt any differences in performance wise, but in temperature wise it made a huge difference. So even though a lot of people said that I should go with the 10W50 oil, the 10W60 is actually keeping the engine cooler, and cooler engines are happy engines. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not sure if that's a program error for the fan, to where it should kick on maybe a little bit sooner before it goes so high. But I've had bikes that the temperature did increase more than half, and that was actually normal. I have taken the temperature with my temp gun, and at the most it has been at about 225 degrees Fahrenheit on the temperature side, and I think that for bikes that's actually quite normal. So I am not concerned about this bike overheating, and so far I haven't had any issues with the coolant. But I wanted to bring that up about the temperature and how I accidentally managed to bring it down. It was by changing the viscosity of the oil. The positioning of the foot pegs on the Stelvio is actually quite comfortable. You're not too high up and you're not too low, and to me it's the perfect position. Now when I get a little bit of discomfort from traveling long distances, I just move my feet a little bit towards the backside and kind of let my ankle just hang, and that gives me a lot of relief when it comes to fatigue from long rides. But besides that, it is super comfy. I did adjust the foot peg for the brake side. It was a little bit too low. I went a little bit higher, and that made it better. And the same thing for the clutch side, for the shifter. I also did the same, and I got it to where it's perfectly calibrated now. If you ever have any issues with all of the controls right here for your turn signals, you can always adjust it, and you don't need to re-drill. It's kind of like a pressure screw that holds on to the handlebar, and you can loosen it up. It's on the bottom side, and I think it's an Allen one, and you can loosen it up, and then you can actually tilt this to whatever position makes you feel comfortable. We are on the Tampa area. This is like their downtown area, I believe. We're heading towards the airport. Traffic is getting a little weird. It's very different to Palm Beach. You see, in Palm Beach, starting Friday, things are like so light on the highway. Here, it's like traffic everywhere. And I think the same thing happens even with Daytona and all the northern cities. They all had the same issue, but again, in West Palm it's kind of like neutral, but then you go down to Miami or Fort Lauderdale and it's the same scenario as here. South St. Petersburg. Very cool. Gotta be here for another 2 miles, and pretty soon we're gonna start seeing water. And we're about to hit the 2,000 miles on the bike. But yeah, we are surrounded by water for sure. We actually got to stay here for about 8 miles. Wow. Beautiful scenery. Well, it is official. We just hit the 2,000 mark. We got 2,004 miles on the odometer. So my brother has to take a bathroom break real quick, so we're gonna stop at this nearby Wawa. But we're only about 5 minutes away from the place, so we're not too far, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to fuel up so that way we don't have to do it later.
A few moments later.
And even though this is a known event, don't get it mixed with Daytona. Daytona is way bigger. What you're gonna see the most is custom Harleys and chopper bikes. We just arrived We just arrived to the event. Wow, you see bikes everywhere. At least from a glance over here. And here we have the Guzzi representing.
Go all the way back to the red tent and turn it left.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, guys, so we just found a parking spot. That's gonna wrap it up today. I might show you the event a little bit after this outro, so don't go away from the video yet. But Moto Guzzi, excellent bike, excellent choice for the money. Here in the USA, you can pick one up for around 13 grand. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys on my next one.